Hello everyone, and this is Culture Shock, the only show on the internet that knows how to separate an issue of culture from an issue of politics. And we've got 3 subjects to talk to you about. The first one will be rough. It'll be hard. It'll probably offend some of you, which I'm okay with that because I love pissing off snowflakes. The other 2 things are going to be absolutely hilarious. This is funny. So first we got the Trump administration trying to add to Title IX to specify gender as based on sex, on biological sex only. So transgenderism. Then of course Elizabeth Warren. Yeah. And also the glorious NPC meme. Love it. It's great. I love a good meme. Anyway, so Trump's administration is trying to add an amendment to Title IX, or whatever you would call it, in addition to Title IX, stating that sex and gender are the same thing, that it's all based on your biological sex, which is not only scientifically correct, but makes the most logical sense. You don't see transgenderism in other species, only in humans. Why? Because humans invented it. Now let me rationalize that. Humans invent things all the time. Mass hysteria, satanic sex abuses, and supposed lost memories crazes of the 1980s and 1990s. Sound familiar? Quack psychologists will, in fact, push, conflate, and fuel these mass hysterias. Transgenderism is a mass hysteria. And for that matter, gender doesn't exist. It's a construct. The proper term is sex. It is your biological sex. Gender is just something that was invented. And they conflate gender, the left conflates gender with personality types. They think that a personality type is the same thing as a gender, because they're just that indoctrinated by their idiot college professors who are cultural Marxists. They don't know any better. Feel sorry for the SJWs because they're young, foolish, and naive. They were taken in. They don't know any better. They're confused, hysterical, and they're ridiculous. They're immature, and they're ignorant. Which is why they ended up becoming NPCs. Can't wait till I get to that bit. But yeah, I think Trump's doing the right thing. It is a mental illness. It is a mass hysteria, and it is being, maybe not a mental illness, but it is definitely a mass hysteria being pushed by quack science, by quack psychology. And the worst part of it is this reassignment surgery will make it to where they'll never be able to reproduce ever again. They'll never have any children, and the birth rate will continue to go down. Combine that with abortion, and that's, I think, a big part of why, in particular, white birth rate is so low. And blacks are soon to follow. American blacks will probably be soon to follow. They'll be next. Their birth rate will get really, really low, too, because of all this nonsense. It is the cause of it. So Trump, I think, is doing the right thing here. That he'll add to Title IX, and that gender will, it's just your biological sex. Your genitals, your other biology, that's what defines what you are. I mean, not your personality, you are you, but, it's your biological sex. There's just male, female, and nothing else. There's only 2 genders, only 2 sexes. Change my mind. You won't, because you need facts, and you will have no facts, because it's just, it's a fiction. It's a man-made fiction. It's all nonsense, and you're using it to the detriment of yourself and others. And that is sickening and sad. Now then, to Elizabeth Warren. Oh my God, the one drop rule. Maybe 1024th Indian, if even that. Like, I'm a Native Amerikaner. Because she's German ancestry. Ich bin Indian. Like, Yeah, no, you're not. You're not an Indian. You're not an Indian, Elizabeth. You most certainly are not. Is cultural appropriation even a thing? Is it even something we should worry about? Is it okay for white people to eat Indian food, or Mexican food, or Chinese food? Yes. Is it okay for white people to pretend to be anything other than white people? No. We can have whatever hairstyles we want, whatever clothes we want. But if we're claiming to be something we're not, that is where a problem exists, and nowhere else. And you know she did it just to get into the fucking university. You know she did it. Deep down, she knows that she's being full of shit, and she's just doing this for her own personal gain, because she knows natives get benefits, and she wants those same benefits because she's a selfish, stupid bitch. And we need to call her out on it, and just blast her out of here. Just blast her relentlessly. Much like the first issue, I hope this one also just goes the way of the dinosaur as quickly as it started, hopefully. So yeah, transgenderism, mass hysteria. Elizabeth Warren, a fucking idiot. And best of all, the NPC meme, and why it is so amazing. Essentially, if you haven't heard, the NPC meme is based on, is admittedly predicated on bad science, about how people claim that they have no internal voice, you know, when they're thinking. But apparently, they had no internal voice at specific times. It makes sense that the brain would be less active at certain times, because even the brain and thinking consumes calories. And so to consume less calories, you're not always thinking. You know, you spend less time thinking and more time, you know, just functioning automatically. Otherwise, we'd be sleeping a lot more than simply 8 hours. You know, 8 hours of recharge for 16 hours of use, to make the cell phone analogy, which I think is admittedly flawed, but that's flawed but good, not the point. But the thing is, you know, someone without an internal voice just functioning on a pre-programmed basis, that's an NPC, like in a video game, with scripted dialogue and pre-scripted behavior. And that is what the far left and the SJWs act like a lot of the time. They just, and their response to the NPC meme is, just proves the point. It really does. It just proves the point. They're acting like NPCs even more. And Twitter went full NPC too. They freaked out and closed down 1,500 NPC memes. And they complain about, oh, the NPC meme is so dehumanizing. Really? Well, you keep calling people Russian bots and bots, and online they call them bots and shit online, and you think that's not dehumanizing? You did it first. What goes around comes around, I say. It's like, there may not be an actual spiritual principle of karma, but there's certainly a cultural principle of karma. People remember things. And you know what? They've earned it. They've earned this. They so have. But we all, to an extent, act like NPCs. We all tend to run on automatic. Far right and center people do it too. It's just that the far left is so rhetorical and so dependent on rhetoric. Do they actually have any independent thoughts, or do they just go based on what the mainstream media tells them, you know? Like, they hear it on news and they start to freak out, they panic, and they just keep repeating the same shit over and over. You know, they talk about art imitating life, and sometimes it goes both ways. Art imitates life and life imitates art, both equally. They are intertwined for sure. They're watching a Jerry Lewis movie in the other room, so if you hear loud horns, that's the film score doing that. I'll get like a sound compressing mic or something at some point, but for now this is the best I got. You can probably hear my computer fan too. But yeah, the NPC meme is absolutely glorious. I love it. And they've so earned it, because they really are just acting exactly like NPCs. So yeah, SJWs are NPCs, Elizabeth Warren is a fucking moronic bitch, and transgenderism is just a mass hysteria that is going to do more harm than good to our society in general. And sure, you can conflate that with the issue of homosexuality, but I believe homosexuality at least is a form of soft population control, and is therefore perfectly natural. And we see homosexuality occur in nature in soft population control, as opposed to hard population control, like, say, tigers eating their young, for example. Thank goodness we don't do that. That would be a very ugly world. But it is a form of soft population control versus transgenderism, which you probably make the same argument, except we don't see that in nature. It seems completely unnatural and stupid. It's like, prove me wrong. Do it. Prove me wrong. Just send me a comment. Send me a video. Tell me how I'm an idiot and I suck. Do it. The difference is clear, is that if it has to be achieved through artifice and technology, then it's obviously not natural. It's just a mass hysteria and it's stupid. That's the difference, is that one's natural, one's not. Challenge me on my notion. Do it. Challenge me. I admit that's not much of a statement, that's fairly combative, but I guess for my final statement is just, you don't see it in nature, you don't see transgenderism in nature, plus a lot of time it's forced, like that story of the little boy who his mom insisted, oh, he says he thinks he's a girl, and then when they gave him back to his dad, he never said it, he just went right back to normal, because it was always the mother. It's a mass hysteria, and it's pushed on the kid from somewhere else. It's a mass hysteria, just like the satanic panic type shit. It's the same thing. Fundamentally, it's... Anyway, it's about as much as I can honestly contribute at this point. I'm just starting to ramble. It's a bit of a rough start for a web series, but I'm doing pretty well, I think. It's just a start. I'll try and get better at some point, but anyway. Tschüss.